QGraphics. So, QGraphics is one of those interesting things where a lot of people are interested in it, but it's not really 100% sure how it all works. And one of the things I'm going to cover in the class is sort of the basics of QGraphics. So, obviously, to paint anything in here, you have to have a strong foundation in all the painting methods, which is why I go over that earlier in the class. But QGraphics, just to give you a quick rundown on it, you have a scene, which has all your objects. You have a view, which is sort of like a camera viewing the scene, so you have multiple views. And then you fill a bunch of objects into that, different QGraphics items, which you can manipulate and you can work with. So these two UIs here are essentially just doing that. This one has a single view. This one has 4 separate views. They're all going to be hooked with the exact same scene whenever I show them. But that's the basics of it. So if we look at it, this is our basic QGraphics view. I'm just going to add a couple of items into it. And the way I'm painting it, by default they have a black outline, but whenever I select them, you get this pivot and the whole border becomes blue. And down here at the bottom we get information about what the actual position is, then the rotate and scale and all that sort of stuff, and you can actually change it from here. So if I want to re-zero it, and that's 0 in this scene. The view 0 is technically up here, the scene 0 is down here. There's whole stuff with setting up how the scene rectangle works and all that sort of stuff, which I'll go over in the class, but for the sake of argument, this is 0 in the center. So as far as if I move it around, updates the UI. You can also update from here. You'll notice that negative takes it up and back, because this is like, you can think of this as sort of 0. This is the positive direction, going in this direction, to the right and down. Then we have rotate, of course scale, and then we can mess around with some Z-depth stuff. So it pops everything else to the front. Oh, and I'm going to say color. So I'm going to make this I'll make it a light blue. Maybe a little bit darker. That's a blue. And you can manipulate as much of this as you want. You can make it gradients. You can make it a pattern. You can make it a picture. But for the sake of simplicity, I'm just making it pretty straightforward. Then, whenever you decide, if you decide for whatever reason you need multiple views of the same object, or the same scene, as you see, we have these 4, which are showing slightly different views of the exact same information. But the scene is maintained the same. So that's just a quick run through of the little tool that I'm building up as an example. And like I said, this is sort of piggybacks off the whole concept of using Painter, or the paint events and stuff of that nature, just so that you can have a lot of control over exactly how things look. Obviously these are very simple, but this cross shape I made myself. This is just a rectangle and a sphere, or a little ellipse, using the same coordinates as the rectangle, but this was hand drawn. Well, created by me. Well, hand drawn is sort of arbitrary. But you could do the exact same thing and push it as far as you want. So again, just a fun little example. I'm just going to make this the color, just because I want to. Because I usually enjoy messing around with these sort of things. And you can add as many of these items as you want. QGraphics is actually built to handle a huge amount of items at the same time. So it does a pretty good job of taking it all with no muss and no fuss. Now you can also write a bunch of stuff to auto place these randomly around if you want. I could put some options in there for that as well, but at the time I just didn't do so. Cool. But yeah, that's about it. Wait, because I'm going to make this the final image, so you're going to see that. Which makes it really confusing if it's selected.